Victoria Swan Lake.
Madam Speaker, a ministry report released on Friday shows the Premier has broken her promise to improve class size and composition in BC classrooms. The results show class composition is the same now as it was in 2014, which was the worst year on record in our province. Before the longest shutdown of schools in BC history, this government continues to download tens of millions of dollars in unfunded cost pressures to school boards, resulting in cuts and teacher layoffs. And this is even before the government imposes a $54 million cutback for so-called administrative savings. Will the Minister of Education acknowledge his ministry's own findings that show his government has failed to deliver on the Premier's promise to parents and kids to make class composition the #1 priority of this government?
Minister of Education.
Well, Madam Speaker, I appreciate the question, and the reality here is that this government is indeed living up to its commitments. We also acknowledge, Madam Speaker, that teachers work very hard in very complex situations in classrooms, and we realize the contribution that they make to every special needs child in this province. But, Madam Speaker, the facts speak for themselves. The 6-year completion rate for students with special needs in this province has increased by 86.2%. That, Madam Speaker, is 62.2% higher than it was in 2001. In addition, Madam Speaker, to live up to our commitments, school districts already receive supplementary funding ranging from anywhere from $9,500 to $37,700 in the 2015-2016 budget year to provide the supports in classrooms that are necessary.
Victoria Swan Lake on a supplemental.
Madam Speaker, this government and the Premier will say anything when the cameras are rolling, and they never, ever do the follow-up. In April 2013, Madam Speaker, the Premier looked the camera in the face and told kids and parents that her #1 priority was fixing seismic schools in danger of failure during an earthquake. And then she did something else. She said it's going to take 10 more years to do the work than the promise she made. In December, this minister signed an MOU promising to respect, consult, and work with school boards, and what we got in this legislative session was a bill giving him new powers to fire school boards at his whim. And when this government promised the teacher settlement would be fully funded, Madam Speaker. Instead, what we got was a budget that gives with one hand and takes with the other. So to the minister, will he live up just for once to his word so the learning conditions of BC students can finally improve?
Minister of Education.
Well, Madam Speaker, again, the member opposite needs a little bit of an education in facts. Let me say this, Madam Speaker, that the historic 5-year collective agreement that this government negotiated with the BCTF commits an additional $125 million over the next 5 years for the Learning Improvement Fund, Madam Speaker. And let me give the member some facts again. More facts. That will hire 300 new full-time teachers in classrooms to deal with class composition, and it'll hire almost 350 new support staff because the Premier and this government are committed to living up to the commitment to deal with class composition in the interest of every single student in our province, Madam Speaker.